This is Wrestling with Ideas.
That's amazing. And you mentioned Vince Russo when he came in. What was the initial reaction when they found out that Vince Russo was going to be the new head booker for WCW?
Well, I think Vince took a lot of credit for what happened up in WWE, and there's only one guy that can take credit for what happens up in WWE, and that's the other Vince, definitely not Vince Russo. Vince McMahon's the one that turned that company around. Vince Russo is one of a handful of guys who were feeding him ideas that he decided to run with. But first off, I thought Russo would be okay. I got along with Bischoff in the beginning, but as time went on, they didn't appreciate my character, and at the end, they were trying to push me out of my contract. But it's the way I feed my family. I'm not going to quit it. A company that Jimmy Hart and I used to talk about, we would say it's like the Titanic. The ship's going down, but you want to stay on as long as possible.
And what would you say was the overall downfall of WCW? Obviously, a lot of people had a hand in that, and as you mentioned, a lot of people look at Vince Russo and his creative decisions, obviously making you a janitor for WCW. What do you think was just the overall downfall for WCW?
Well, pretty much covered it right there, brother. I think Vince Russo had been the icing on the cake. It started a downward spiral as egos got more involved, and the money was getting out of hand, and guys like Ernest the Cat Miller and Tank Abbott were making huge amounts of money that were not to that quality of money that those guys were making. With Steve McMichaels, great football player, but mediocre wrestler.
Keep updated with everything going on with Wrestling with Ideas by following us on Twitter or leaving a like on the Wrestling with Ideas Facebook page. Listen to archived episodes of the show on Podbean and the Podbean app, or take a listen on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and Player FM. We will be back to Wrestle with Ideas.